Hey, what's up everyone? Matt Montanez here. I'm bringing you today in Plugins in Depth the H delay, and it's one of my favorite delays. It's in my template. It comes in every session. I love it. If I'm not using this bad boy, I'm using the stock delay, and the stock delay is great too. You can do a lot of stuff in there that a lot of people don't realize how versatile it is. But for me, this one's the best one ever with that ping pong setting. And because, I've tried other plugins, I'm sure you have too. You've tried using a ping pong type of delay, and it just didn't cut it. I know this one for sure works amazingly well. And there's one more, I think it's made by Air. Others that I've tried to implement on and make it work, it's just difficult process. And this one just sounds really, really good. This song is by a couple buddies of mine, George Anthony and Jeffrey produced it. Really cool, talented guys. They got a group called Heart and Soul, and they made this track, sent it to me. They recorded it at their home studio, sent this to me to mix it and everything. And super talented guys. Yeah, it's called Hello Maybe, and it's not out yet. So when it does come out, I'll put a link in the description below, so you guys can check out the full mix. A few key points that I want you guys to hear is the way I use the delay. It's real gentle, and the way it ping pongs back and forth. It's really, really cool at certain spots, and it doesn't clash with the vocals. So I'm just gonna solo the vocals, the lead vocals, and I have it sending to an aux. So let me just play it real quick for you.
Maybe.
So it's bouncing back and forth. Really, really cool stuff. And then I have it at this section here, which gives us this cool little flangey kind of sound on it. And that's with using the modulation, which I'll explain in a second.
Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a fun.
And it's really, really cool. So that's what I loved about this plugin, and it worked really, really well. So I'm going to just highlight back this. And this is what I'm going to be showing mostly, is just this first maybe. We got is our wet and dry knob, and of course that's so you could put it on a send. You can send your vocals or instrument, whatever you want to send to this delay. You'll put it as 100% wet, but if you use it as an insert, you'll use it as dry. So right now I'm using it as a send, so I put 100% wet. And if I didn't do that, let me just bring this up here. Sorry for my mess here in this session, guys. And this is just my template that I bring in. And in Pro Tools 12.4, unfortunately, you don't get plugin chains like in 2018 presets. So I actually have my chains, and they just import with my session. So anyways, okay, back to this HLA. Here it is. So I have it as a send. This is an aux track. And as you can tell, because there's no record and input monitoring, it's just an aux. And then I have it sending out. And that's here. Here's my lead vocals going to my master. So it's going from there, because this is going to my lead vocals, and it's sending into the H delay.
Maybe.
So if you didn't use it that way, then you would want to put it on an insert, on your insert on the actual track, which would be here, H delay. And there you go. It's now an insert, and when you use it, you're going to want to use this wet and dry knob.
Maybe I'm just overdoing. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit. Maybe.
And that's really controlling the entire plugin for you right there. The volume wise, I guess you can say, because if you use this output, it's going to actually increase the volume of the entire track.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it.
So you're going to be controlling it with the dry and wet knob. Let's pull that off. We're going to keep it as the send. I like to work with it that way. So then when you're sending to an effects or an auxiliary track, you use your send fader and you send it that way. Okay, then you got your output. And your output, I like to see when you use it as a send, it's used as a makeup gain. When you use it as a send, it's only boosting and lowering the actual delay. So if you didn't want to mess with the return here, and I left this at 0,
Maybe.
I can just bring it down here.
Maybe.
Or I can raise it up here.
Maybe.
So I like to think of it to work that way. And then you got your analog, which is just noise. In Always plugins, when they do their emulations, they make these analog sections that just make noise. And this one apparently has 4. And each one sounds just noisy. So I'm going to put it back on the insert.
maybe,
And you'll hear it right now. So here's one. Let's see,
maybe,
100. Let's just boost that. So that's one. That's two. And two is yes, it's the noisiest one. There's three, it's a little more gentle. And then four is just real subtle. But yeah, this noise, I always turn it off, especially in this plugin. If you come in with a quiet song, like for example, this one's a quiet song, yeah, you might want to turn it off because you'll hear a lot of noise. And then we got here is, of course, just the meter, just to show you the volume and things like that. It's negative 48 dBFS, and it goes up to 0. And then you got your little clip light. Cool. The cool thing about this plugin, though, which a lot of plugins don't have, is this feedback goes from 0 to 200. Basically, you can go to 200%. So when you go to 0 to 100, that's just regular feedback timing, and then it just feeds back. Cool, and that's what's giving you your delay because it keeps cycling. When you go from 100 to 200, it's actually causing a buildup. So it does an infinite loop. So if I go past 100, which I'm going to exaggerate and just go to 200, you'll hear it build up. And it gets really loud, so be ready for that. And it's really cool to do like some cool effects or anything, but you got to work with some automation or anything to really make it sit and work really well. So here you go. So yeah, so it'll do that with your vocals and everything, and it sounds really cool if you really can know how to dial in your effects. You can do it on a lot of different things. Down here we got our filters, and another very cool thing here is that on your low pass and your high pass, they both go from 20 hertz to 20K, and that's so cool that you get the full frequency range there, because then you honestly don't need an EQ after it. Like, I've tried it before to have an EQ and actually roll stuff off, but you don't even need it because this one goes the entire frequency range. So it's really cool. Then you got your link knob, which instead of you like clicking this one, shift click, and then moving it, all you have to do is just move your link knob. So you can just pretty much move your bands together, and you can just stay that whole low and high pass, but just hear it at different sections of the frequencies. You got your time-based controls here, which is phase reverse left, phase reverse right, your ping pong switch, which is the golden boy here. You got a BPM, host, and milliseconds. Then you got your actual BPM and then your time. So here, this just switches the phase on the left channel and then the right channel, especially because it's a stereo plugin. Even too, if you slap it on as an insert, you can convert it to a mono stereo, or your HDLA right here, mono stereo. So it's real cool to keep that in mind, that you can flip the phase. It works and everything, especially if you're not in ping pong, because if you're actually in ping pong and you flip the switch,
maybe I'm just overdoing it.
You actually don't get any delay. So keep that in mind.
Maybe I'm just
Let's see.
maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing.
All right, so here it is flipped, and let's play it.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit. Maybe I'm just overdoing it.
So as soon as I have the phase switched, and when it's engaged and ping pong mode's on, it phase cancels out the actual delay, so you don't get no delay once you pull that off and get it. So just in case you have, like by accident you have this on, you're like, my delay's not working, what's going on? It's just that ping pong switch right there. You might want to pull that off or pull off the phase cancellation to get that ping pong to actually work. If you don't have ping pong on,
Maybe I'm just overdoing it.
it actually continues to work. It just gives it a different kind of sound, which is cool. Usually when I do it and I'm doing like slapback vocals for rap, I'll have this on and I'll do it and it sounds cool. I actually learned that from one of the presets. I was like, whoa, why does it do that? And then I dialed it in real closely, and yeah, that's what it's doing. It's actually giving it a cool little sound. And then here is our time-based controls, to set the tempo and stuff, like the delay time. Host, when you click host, it gets set to your session's tempo. So if I switch this to 120, it'll switch this to 120. And then you can't switch it manually here. If you go to BPM, you can switch it manually here, but it won't switch with your session time. So that's that. Then you got milliseconds, which milliseconds just controls the timing of the delay, your delay's timing. So you set what time you want your delay to actually delay.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to.
Really cool. I usually just stick to host and just stick to the grid and how it's going to be timed just to be on time. So that's what I do. Then you got this cool, very, very cool tap button. It's neat. What it does is you tap in your delay time. So if you're in BPM and you tap it, and that's probably where you want to be, it'll do like a 1/8. Or if you want to be in milliseconds and you tap it, it'll actually put your delay time the way you tapped it.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the.
So it's a really cool feature. I don't use it much. Maybe you'd want to use it in a live setting or something, but like I said, I just stick to host and move the delay. You got this lo-fi knob here, which is just supposed to give it like a little more crunchy, darker sound. Lo-fi. So sometimes it could even get it like a distorted sound if you're pushing vocals really hard through it. So it's a real cool button to just engage, hear how it sounds, and then pull off. I like it. I use it quite a bit, usually rap vocal stuff, but on this one I didn't because I'm doing ping pong, not a slapback. So I'd use it when I'm doing slapback stuff. And then you got your little modulation here. And as you can tell that I'm actually using some of the modulation, and it's because of the way I wanted this delay to sound. It just sounded really good at a certain spot. And that was right here that I showed you just a little while ago. Where are you at? Right here.
Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm.
And that's why I have it on there because it's super, super, super cool. So this modulation, basically these two controls is the modulation, and you got your depth, and your depth is basically the amount of modulation you want. So if I turn this to 0, it's giving me actually 0 modulation. So yeah, keep that in mind. If it's 100, it's doing the full amount of modulation. Then you got like, I guess, a wet and dry knob type of deal, but it's not mixing two signals, so it's not a wet and dry knob, but it's close enough. So but that's probably easier to understand. It's more like a wet and dry knob where it's like, okay, that's full effect, that's no effect, and then that's somewhere in between. All right, cool. Uh, then you got your modulation, which it's here, and it goes from 0.1 to 6K, and it works in two different ways there. BPM and host actually is a multiplier of the tempo you set, and then milliseconds is actually going off the frequency. So yeah, it just gives you two different sounds. We'll put it that way. And it'll give you like flanging effects, chorusy effects, and things like that. So it's cool to try out, to experiment with some sounds here and there. And it's something like this.
Ignore the rolly, but.
Actually, let's raise this up quite a bit.
Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a fun.
So you hear that? That's pretty much the effect. So I'm gonna put this 100.
Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a fun.
See, so it does that weird alien kind of sound effect. And if I turn this knob some,
Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a fall in love.
oh yeah, I forgot though. Like if you're in host and you go to like 6K, for some reason it doesn't really do anything.
Ignore the rolly, but maybe.
So yeah, keep that in mind. And then if I go down here,
Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a.
and it switches up a little bit. So
Ignore the rolly, but maybe.
see here now is distorted in this one little section and stuff. So yeah, it does some cool effects. So it's something that I always like to play with when I'm doing like a ping pong effect, just because sometimes it gives it a little flavor, you know. So I'm gonna switch to milliseconds and move this bad boy a little bit.
Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a fall in love. Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a fall in love. Ignore the rolly, but maybe I'm a fall.
So yeah, it's pretty similar, but it's just the way they switch the timing on it. But yeah, it's cool. They give you just slightly different sounds from host, milliseconds, BPM. Like I said, just stay in host. You're most likely gonna find a weird sound like that, or you can just slap another freaking plugin right here afterwards. But all right, let's put this delay a little bit so you can hear it in action. So here's the vocal, and I'm actually gonna unsolo it so you can hear some music with this. And so let's see. Let me take off this limiter too a little bit. Do I have a lot of limiter on? Actually, no, I don't. But let's just dial it back so it's not as super loud. And let's check this out, the H delay.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning and you're on the edge while Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit.
So I'm gonna move this filter here so you can hear it move.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3?
Let's raise this up.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it.
What's going on here? Right, and let's put this up and let's raise this that much.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning?
So it's really cool because like if you're moving this around and stuff, especially like if you're trying to just get some like sparkle inside a vocal, you can literally just get your filter set in place and just like move this over.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning?
Real cool stuff, so that's pretty awesome. And let's go back to my setting. How did I have this? Something like that. All right, cool. All right, and then let's move this guy here, or actually watch.
Maybe I'm maybe
Okay, it's not bad, the analog actually when the music's gonna play.
maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning and you're on the edge while
Cool. So we'll just leave it like that. And I keep putting right so it can write my delay in and stay at this volume and stuff for the automation, because since like I said I had automation, it's moving that fader up and down and stuff, muting in and out. But I just want the playback to continuously play. And let's see, let's mess with this modulation some while it's playing. Or actually the lo-fi.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning and you're on the
Let's do this so we can see if we can hear it better.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning?
So you hear I got really dark there, so yeah. So here, let me put this in pre-fader now, and so you can just hear the delay. Let me that out, I believe. Nope. It's down here. I gotta slap this one down. All right. And now you can just hear the delay itself.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3?
So the vocal you're actually hearing is just delay. There's no regular vocal into this. So yeah, you're hearing all the effect that it does. So I'm gonna hit toggle lo-fi, and so you can hear how different that sounds from just the normal voice. And as you can see, there's no filter actually on this one.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning?
And as you can tell, it's just like a lot darker. So it gives it a different kind of tone, which is really cool, like I said. So I like to put that behind vocals a lot of times. Let's mess with this modulation a little more.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's...
So yeah, you can get some pretty cool effects, like I said, and it makes things really neat. And the cool thing about this delay, like I said, you can use it on anything. You can use it on vocals. You can use it on instruments and stuff. You can really dial in the feedback and actually start using it like a reverb plugin. It does not need to be like if it's only for vocals. So let's see. Let's go here. Excuse me. Put it here. Let's dial it in for these roads. So as you can hear, it gives it more of a little reverb setting. I'm gonna lessen this a little. So yeah, so you can just dial in some different kind of sounds, like I said, inside a instrument. Really, really cool. So, all right, everyone. I hope this helped you guys. I hope this video kind of just made a little understanding on the modulation, what it's doing, a little bit of the analog stuff, because it's a really useful delay. If you're not using it, I highly recommend you do use it because that ping pong setting is incredible. And if you don't use a ping pong setting, it still sounds great too. This is the delay.
Maybe I'm just overdoing it. Maybe I'm pushing myself to the limit and I'm losing it all. Who can you call while it's 3 in the morning and you're on the edge while it's storming and you feel like you're about to fall? Left guard voicemails, but hasn't got back.
It still sounds really good, so keep that in mind. You can always use it as a regular delay. It does not need to ping pong back and forth. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I usually get back like within a few minutes because, yeah, my phone's kind of always by me and I just make music. So, as always, everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. And I also want to mention before I let you guys go is I will be coming out with an app soon for your phone, and it's incredible. It's for engineers, producers, songwriters, anybody who makes music pretty much. And me and Chizzy Stevens, the guy behind Catching Villains, we are coming out with this app. We've designed it. We've really worked really hard on this app. It's called Audio Coach. You can actually follow our social medias for that to stay up to date when it's going to be released. Audiocoachapp.com is the website, which it's almost which we'll be putting out the full website soon. Right now, it just has our social media links and stuff, which you can just go there. And it's a really cool app. Basically, it's having ear training, anything right on your phone for you guys. And every drill has been dialed in and thought about and really worked on to make it very, very useful and the fastest ear training, the best ear training and ear training done the right way for you guys. Every sound and song on there is being designed by Chizzy specifically for these drills and also to increase your ear training the fastest and the best way. Also, there are music essential tools in the app that you guys will love to use, and it's already getting a lot of great positive feedback. Soon we'll be out for public beta testing, so if you're interested in that, I'll be sending out a link soon for that, just for like an application for public beta testing, and maybe you guys can jump on that. But it's gonna be really, really cool, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it when it comes out, and the best part about the app is it's free, so you guys will love it. So take care. Once again, keep creating music.